nerds, and welcome back to Cinematic Sarcastic, the podcast that talks all things movies and television. I'm Natalie, and I'm your host. On this episode, we are going to be talking House of the Dragon, or at least the first episode. It dropped today. I watched it this morning. I practically bounded down the stairs like it was Christmas. I was so excited for House of the Dragon to drop today. But I wanted to give myself a little bit of time to kind of formulate some thoughts. So, the review isn't going out until tomorrow. You guys will be hearing this tomorrow. But I was very excited about it. I know the Game of Thrones did not end quite the way that all of us hoped it would. But when they announced some of the spin-off stuff, I was, optimistic about it from day one. I think that the world that George R.R. Martin created is one that I enjoy getting to see. And so when they announced House of the Dragon, immediately you had me because it was House of the Dragon. My favorite character from Game of Thrones was Daenerys. I loved her and her dragons. I loved her whole storyline. Not so much the way that it ended, obviously. But I liked her as a character. I wanted definitely to see kind of more of her history and more of, what kind of happened, why there were no more dragons and things like that. I was very, very pleasantly surprised with House of the Dragon. There was not a single thing that I was like, oh gosh, this is gonna suck, or any kind of concern from the first episode that would make me feel like the rest of the season was going to be disappointing. I absolutely loved it. Just as a little informative disclaimer, I guess, I react to dragons in television shows and movies the way that Edith from Despicable Me reacts to fluffy unicorns. You've got me if you've got dragon. It's really so much joy for an adult. I get so excited and giddy about seeing them on screen. I've always really loved dinosaurs since I was a kid, and I think that dragons are sort of the closest kind of fantasy depiction of dinosaurs, and you can't really make a show House of the Dragon with dinosaurs. So dragons I will take it. I enjoy them. I love them. Fantasy creatures just in general I feel like are great, but I love the creature design of the dragons specifically from Game of Thrones, and then that has continued in House of the Dragon, but obviously on a much larger scale. The dragons are bigger. So far we haven't gotten to see everyone that will play a part in House of the Dragon. We've gotten to see some of the cast, but not every single character. So we've met Princess Rhaenyra and Daemon Targaryen, Viserys the First, Alicent Hightower, and all of that. And I won't spoil anything for anyone, hopefully, but I very much like how it has been set up. I'm very much looking forward to watching the rest of the series. Any sort of fear that I had about what they might do with a spinoff from Game of Thrones, we're good. I'm just really excited to see the rest of it. I'm really excited to see this series continue also into more and more seasons. If this season is as good as the first episode, I don't think we should have any issue having more seasons come out. I'm really looking forward to it. I know that there were a few sort of reviews, I guess. I don't think they were so much reviews, but there were definitely people talking about how House of the Dragon was going to be ruined by injecting, politics into it. But really, watching that first episode, I'm not entirely sure how you could not inject politics into it. The entire basis of the story is politics. It's politics of the throne, basically. It is, in my opinion, it is the same sort of politics that we saw from Game of Thrones. It's, who is going to be on the Iron Throne. And this is hundreds of years, before Game of Thrones starts. So having a female on the Iron Throne is a bigger deal at that time than it will be obviously moving forward in Game of Thrones. And this story is kind of that breaking open of why there was a woman on the Iron Throne or how that came to be. All of that is political. All of that is political. So to anyone out there saying that House of the Dragon is going to be ruined with politics, well, you wouldn't have a story. You would not have House of the Dragon story without politics. So to me, that doesn't ruin it in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, so I am super excited to see how it goes. The first episode definitely had me. I loved that they stuck with the same score, or like the same music that Game of Thrones did. So it's not, it is its own separate entity. You can tell that, but you can also, like, they used a lot of the similar things that you understand. It is the same world. It is coming from the same, artistic vision. And I appreciate that. I think anyone that enjoyed Game of Thrones will enjoy House of the Dragon. So let me know what you guys thought of the first episode. Subscribe if you want to join the Movie Nerd family. And I hope to see you in the next episode.